Thank you so much for joining us on this Thursday, 23rd day of August, 2012 transmission. We will be here for the next 3 hours, and I'll be back hosting the nightly news this evening, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, the website, InfoWarsNews.com or PrisonPlanet.tv. Both of them will get you there. Okay, wow. We have got a very important transmission, as always, lined up today, but even more so every day because this world government gets more and more out in the open. We've got a lot of signs that the globalists are planning to stage crises at the Republican and Democratic conventions. We're going to be breaking down all of that. Also, they're talking about canceling or moving the GOP convention if this hurricane that looks like it's steering right for the convention. I can see Bill Gates in there with the hurricane machine guiding it. You know, I mean, that sounds crazy, and it's probably a normal hurricane, but 1967, they had certified that the government could create, weaken, strengthen, and even steer hurricanes. So we are living in a Buck Rogers world. I've had Ben Livingston, the father of weather weapons, on the show to break all of that down, so we're going to be going over that. Here's one of the big ones. Texas official warns of Obama's civil war. It's in the Houston Chronicle. It's in the Associated Press. It's up at Infowars.com. It's Lubbock. It's the judge. And people get confused outside Texas or other states that have this. The county commissioner head is called a judge. And so it's basically the mayor of that county that Lubbock is in. Pretty populated area. Pretty focused and well-informed conservative libertarian types out in West Texas. In fact, if I was ever going to talk about a place that would really actually rebel against tyranny, it's people in Texas, and particularly places like West Texas. And he's sitting there with the police chief, or sitting there with the sheriff nodding his head when they're talking about waiting for the feds and their armored vehicles and stopping them. And the guy's pretty respected. I mean, he's not... This is the point we've gotten to where they're announcing on C-SPAN the UN and NATO run the military. They're announcing on CNBC that world government is here. They are announcing we're going under global receivership and global government has been established. And the Bill of Rights and Constitution is being completely trashed. And so people at the state level are going to wake up. I mean, the Texas legislature said last year, we're going to enforce existing law. If you touch somebody's genitals on the outside without a warrant or an emergency, that is a misdemeanor. Inside, it's a felony sexual assault. That's already on the books. And the feds said F-16s are on standby to run an armed blockade of your state. And I confirmed with military sources, Army mainly, that they had the tanks loading on the trains to come to Texas in surrounding states. Yeah, good luck with that. As if they're going to, I mean, if you have the government of a state stand up, it's over. Because the federal government has zero moral authority. Zero. The feds are supposed to keep the states in tune. The states are supposed to keep the feds in tune. That's separation of powers. And the feds are way, 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 way out of line because they're not feds. They're globalists. They're collaborators with foreign banks that brag in hundreds of publications that we're slaves. And look, you can run denial on people long enough and have them just follow authority. But it's not going to fly in places like Texas and Tennessee and Vermont and New Hampshire and Arizona and other areas. It is not going to fly in places like Missouri and Kansas and Indiana and Illinois. I mean, all over. When open world government is being thrown in our face and we're being told that liberty is bad and small business owners are bad, I mean, I'm sorry. Alex Jones here with a very important announcement for truth seekers. We've carried a lot of amazing films and books over the years on the online video bookstore at Infowars.com. And out of all the titles we've carried, one stands out because it is just so chillingly convincing. And that's Dreams from My Real Father by Joel Gilbert, available at Infowars.com. This film exposes the fraud that Obama is like nothing I've seen. If you want to know who Obama's real daddy is, this is the film for you. Don't forget, your purchase supports our broadcast and our growing media network. You'll also find at Infowarshop.com, None Dare Call a Conspiracy by Gary Allen, the book that woke me up. We're also carrying Behind the Green Mask, UN Agenda 21 by Rosa Corey. This book is coffin nails to the globalist takeover. The Greater Good, the most professional and up-to-date film I've ever seen exposing the scourge that is vaccines. These titles and a lot more are all available at InfoWarsShop.com. You are joining us for the first time and you're wondering what you've tuned into. Let me introduce myself. I am Alex Jones of Texas, and I am a defender of liberty and common sense and due process, the family and private property, and the right to follow your own religious beliefs and to have freedom and dignity. And I have declared war for 17 years on pushers and purveyors of tyranny and control freak coward ideologies. And I have sworn on the altar of God to put all of my energy and will against the New World Order and to trod them under my booted feet. If God be with us, none can stand against us. The globalists spend their entire time trying to brainwash and program with all these anti-family, anti-liberty messages that you see everywhere. Television is a weapon to pacify you. Now, people think that, oh, Obama, he's bad. He's the reason all this is happening. Obama is the manifestation, at this current point, a signpost of the globalists themselves. And the fact that people are rebelling against Obama is a good thing. And the fact that almost everyone I talk to who hates Obama and everything he's doing understands that Mitt Romney's bought and paid for by the very same people. They just don't want Obama to get reelected, and it's the only good argument I've heard for actually getting involved in the election, is because if he gets 4 more years, he's not facing reelection, and he has pardon power and Katie barred the door. I've talked to a lot of high-powered people, even liberals and Democrats and big corporate people, and they're scared of Obama and the people that run him. Clearly, they want to start a civil war in this country between patriots and libertarians and conservatives. Whether you like it or not, the battle lines have been drawn. And if they see you as a libertarian or a conservative or a constitutionalist or a veteran, you are the enemy, period. Because the globalists manipulate both sides of the political fake spectrum, but the real ideology of their henchmen at the lower and mid and even upper levels is a socialist communist ideology. And they're a very, very, very dangerous force that has to be dealt with. And again, Romney is just the globalist in a lower gear, and that signifies the fact that they're trying to get him in now, that they realize Obama has become nothing but a liability. People are waking up under Obama. People are getting organized under Obama. They're getting out of their slumber, and the country is on the edge of a restoration. The Republic is awakening right now, and I've got some amazing news we're going to be covering. But if you just tuned in for the first time, you have found it. This is the tip of the spear. This is the most widely listened to radio broadcast on AM, FM, XM, and shortwave and internet worldwide that actually covers the full spectrum of the eugenics, the world government, the master plan. We go way beyond Obama, way beyond the Prime Minister of England, way beyond the puppets, to the source documents of the globalists who have to communicate to their mid-level minions, so they basically admit their entire program. All you've got to do is take a little time out of watching sports and a little time out of strutting around and acting tough, and I'm talking to some of the new listeners out there, to actually realize you're under assault. I mean, I people watch, and I go hiking, and I go swimming. The lake's gotten too hot here to swim, and then I'm going to get into the news. So I like to go to one of the big spring-fed areas, well, Barton Springs, and I watch guys, you know, that are big and muscular and obviously powerful, and I watch them kind of strutting around like they want to, you know, start a fight with somebody. And I kind of watch some of the lap lane swimmers who will, you know, kind of get out of kilter of where they're swimming and get over into where you're at, and then you'll see them looking at you in their goggles. They're just going to run into you. They're going to play chicken with you. Adult men hyped up on testosterone, swimming in ice-cold water, it's not really ice cold, it's spring, like 68 degrees, but it feels like icy, are so wound up that they're ready to run into another man who potentially, would break their nose. Because I'm sitting there thinking, well, the person runs into me, I'll just ignore it. If they get mad and attack me, what am I going to do? Well, I don't want to punch them in the throat and kill them. I'll just break their nose. Because, I'm not Mr. Tough Guy, but people aggress towards me, I start thinking about how to assault them, what I'm going to do to them. And that's just a normal response of any mammal that's got their head screwed on straight. And my point for telling that story is I had to get way over on the side yesterday just to not have people running into me. And then I was watching them running into each other, and I was just watching men going up to the diving board posturing to each other. And that's what this country has become, is that they love posturing to their neighbor. Cops love getting mad at you and yelling at you if you drive wrong or something when they pull you over. But they don't get mad when foreign banks openly steal $40-something trillion out of the U.S. Treasury, bankrupting us by design. They don't get mad when they come out in major studies and go, yeah, we put fluoride in the water to brain damage you. Because they're brain damaged. That's why. And again, you should get mad. You should get angry about real assaults that are taking place. But again, we're given these cultural icons and these cultural images of what is acceptable to do. But I'm already digressing off. The point is I see men who are either giving into being completely emasculated and castrated and kind of get into this jellyfish mode of talking in simpering voices and walking behind their wives and saying yes, ma'am to them. I see that. The women look completely unhappy, but they're following the feminist liberal dream of basically a dead family. And now the feminists are, we hate you men, we just want to have kids without you. And that's being pushed as super fashionable. So you have that rotting on one end. And then on the other end, I actually aren't even mad at men strutting around with tattoos, acting tough, because that's at least a primitive level I can work with in the future. At least they've got enough humanity left that they still have some power, even though it's infantile and badly directed. At least there's something left there. At least they're not embracing weakness. I mean, I used to think, man, it's kind of silly, people in motorcycle jackets, bugging their eyes out, acting tough, driving around, rum, 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 rum. But I understand, hey, they're trying to say we're not like the rest of these people. So I actually get it and like it and think it's good. Because I guess you've got to take on the outer form of something a lot of times before you start taking the inner form on. But I've got huge, giant breaking news here, and I'm basically engaging in a philosophy discussion, and I apologize. Let me run down what's coming up on this huge broadcast today. We have a special guest in studio, but I'll tell you about that coming up. It's amazing what we've got coming up here on the broadcast. Truly incredible information. It is confirmed. BBC ran the footage. The New York Times wrote about it. There's multiple TV crew footage of it. The BBC removed the story and removed it because it is al-Qaeda, jihadis, funded out of Saudi Arabia, torturing a man, going through people's family belongings, laughing at wedding photos, swimming in a family swimming pool, torturing the guy, and then making him suicide bomb a police checkpoint. And we're going to be playing that clip because it's censored by the BBC, but it backfired on the London Telegraph. Just put the video out now with their masthead on it saying, okay, well, you censored it. We're covering it. Paul Watson has a big article about it up at Infowars.com. I mentioned this yesterday, but I didn't read the article, and it's so big I will get into the article itself today. It's linked on the right-hand side, third story now at drudgereport.com. That's drudgereport.com. But also up at Infowars.com is where it originates from. TSA rifles through bags, conducts pat-downs at Paul Ryan event. Government agents moving out of airports into the streets. Big article. I'm going to be covering that. And then, of course, our top story here today, because this signifies that we could really turn the corner in a lot of ways, because I'm talking to military, I'm talking to police, I'm talking to county judges, I'm talking to state judges, current ones. I've talked to Congress people off air. I've talked to state senators on air. And this is the reason he's saying this, and local Fox News, Fox 34 in Lubbock took it serious, because the county judge, again, is like it's the mayor of the county. It's like a selectman of the county. But Texas judge preparing for civil war of Obama reelected. Well, really, it should be Texas judge preparing for American resistance to globalist takeover. And again, as more and more people just come out and say what it is, this is where we're going to have the victory. The enemy would tell police world government doesn't exist, foreign banks running a world government doesn't exist, derivatives that are going to bring it down don't exist. There's countless books, videos made predicting all this. The police were shown it as intelligence files to look out for us. So the police have basically, in the intelligence units and the SWAT teams and everything, they've all seen this stuff, and they're like, well, all that is exactly coming true. So their own propaganda. Here's an example. Going back 15 years ago, Marines would show my first films, and Army as well. Because some of them were like, you know, producers I had, brothers and others. I mean, I had countless stories of these where I was personally told it and shown letters where they would get them up and say, Alex Jones videos are being given out. You will get in trouble, and you'll get extra duties if you're caught with it, and then the second time worse. I've been told to tell you this by the colonel. By the way, there's a stack of the videos right here. I expect you to throw them away.
Everything we said came true. Everything we've done's been right.
That's now a national story, and that's going to get everybody talking. This guy just had the courage to say what everybody who actually cares about freedom already knows. And I want to get this guy on the show, Chris. You won't be able to get him on soon. He's going to get swamped. I want to go after him today. Set him up for tomorrow, please. And if he can't do it during the radio time, we'll do it nightly news tomorrow, even tonight. I got Steve Pachinik on with breaking news and Dan Badandi in studio tonight, but let's see if we can get him on the nightly news tonight. That's a good idea. Texas official warns of Obama's civil war. A Lubbock County, Texas judge. Now, see, he's not a judge. They call it a judge. He's the head of the county court, which is really the city council for the county. Is asking for a tax increase to hire deputies, like a 1 cent thing, for the inevitable civil war he believes would follow President Obama's reelection. Well, let's actually play what he really had to say, because here's our article from June 1st by Adon Salazar for Infowars.com, one of our in-house great researchers. It's GX The Guard Experience magazine. The threat at home. Who and what are the biggest dangers to Homeland Security? And it shows a veteran with bombs strapped to him. Really? And by the way, that's how this works. They tell somebody, we're going to kill your family. We've got your little kids. If you don't drive this suicide bomb in, we're going to kill your wife and kids. And you know what? Daddy goes and blows himself up. And of course, they go ahead and kill the wife and kids. Not going to let witnesses be around. They love it. That's why people get into the business of being globalist minions and Al-Qaeda, because they like to cut people's heads off. They like to torture. They like to murder. And we're going to play some of that footage and audio coming up where our government, criminal government, Al-Qaeda has captured a family, taken over their house. They're making fun of their wedding pictures. All of these are the heroes. And then they torture the guy and say, you're now going to drive this truck in and blow up a police station. And there's another case where they want to blow up a police checkpoint. A truck full of explosives. Okay? And that's up at Infowars.com. This is on the BBC. They're like, this is good. This is heroic. Well, no, it's not. This is the type of evil. And now they're saying in Army documents that we covered 3 weeks ago, became national news, Drudge Report linked to that. Washington Times covered it. Washington Post covered it. But they were like, oh, it's okay. The Washington Post was like, this is a good thing. Saying that they were training in North Carolina when the militia with the Tea Party links up with Al-Qaeda. Yeah. When the Lucky Charms leprechaun links up with the Easter Bunny and a Chinese jet pilot from Pluto, and rainbow ponies dance around and pigs fly, and I mean, it's just, but they actually, I knew this was going on 6, 7 years ago from my sources. That's why I said they're going to say that the Patriots are going to link up with Al-Qaeda. That's one thing to claim the militia is, which is ridiculous, but they think the public's ignorant about the militia. But to say that the Tea Party, half the Tea Party, because I know the Tea Party folks. I mean, I was there with Ron Paul helping found the original one. But half the Tea Party today is so Islamophobic, folks, they want to glass parking lot the entire Middle East. You know them. A lot of you are them. They say you work with them. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And they have the big National Guard magazine about how, yeah, you're going to be fighting veterans who link up with Al-Qaeda in America. It's coming. It will happen. The #1 threat is veterans. Yeah, you. They're teaching you that you are the enemy. I mean, this is so over the top. That's how dumb they think everybody is. But let me tell you, when they start staging the events, or they, when they bust the Al-Qaeda operative who'll be some, 80 IQ moron with some other veteran who's brain damaged from IEDs. This is exactly who they'll look for. They'll just get them drunk or on drugs and have them say they're going to blow something up, and then it'll be on the news. Habib Hassan Durka was planning with, John Smith, the evil redneck, to kill the innocent people at the military base. I mean, this is the type of garbage they're doing so they can simulate it and get everybody scared. Alex Jones here with a message to fellow freedom lovers. The prognosis for the entire planetary economic system runs from bad to worse. The globalist model is to shut down societies and starve patriots out until they acquiesce to the global takeover. That's why we've assembled the most vital and important preparedness items at InfoWarsShop.com. These are items that I did research on, that I personally use. We've got the life straw, so you can turn fetid water into safe water anywhere you go. The K-Tor hand crank generator to charge up key equipment during power outages or out in the field. Strategic Relocation, 3rd edition by Joel Skousen. When Disaster Strikes by Matthew Stein. ThyroSafe, used by Homeland Security to protect yourself during any radiological event. Hand crank shortwave AM/FM radios. Everything that we've researched and found to be the best is available at InfoWarsShop.com, and your purchase makes our InfoWar possible. We're getting prepared. Are you? InfoWarsShop.com. We are here live. Back. Weeknights, 7 o'clock Central at PrisonPlanet.tv with InfoWars Nightly News. And back Sundays, 4 to 6 p.m. live with the Sunday transmission. We couldn't do any of this without your support, without the good Lord above, and without the incredible crew that I want to recognize in our reporters, video editors, researchers, customer service, shipping department, the writers, researchers, everyone. Amazing job. Please pray for the entire InfoWars Command Center crew, because we are at the tip of the spear, and we go forward cheerfully into the face of the globalist, knowing that our God is more powerful than the God of this world, who is nothing but a fallen destroyer. It's easy to kill, steal, and destroy. It's hard to create and build. That's the God we worship. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, we are broadcasting worldwide here. We've got McDonald's spying on your kids. That's mainstream news. A bunch of other articles. They're trying to break up the family. Also coming up, BBC censors video showing Syrian rebels forcing prisoner to become suicide bomber. Broadcaster attempts to hide clear evidence of war crimes. You got to go watch the video. They've pulled it off their channel, but it's up there. They're digging through this family stuff, making fun of photos of their kids and the wife, and talking about what scum they are, basically, because the wife at the wedding, didn't have her face covered. And it's just a bunch of Al-Qaeda scum that have invaded the country. And then they torture this guy. And it's so heroic, the BBC reports. Oh, it's so cool. Oh, the New York Times also reports on it. Oh, we need Al-Qaeda, the CFR said 3 weeks ago. That's a quote. We need them. Oh, they're such fighters. Oh, they're so handsome. Oh, they're almost as good as G.I. Joe. And I am here trying to rally people to awaken to that and defeat the globalist. All right, let's get serious here. This is good news and bad news. The media doesn't know what to do because this is a respected, longtime county judge. That's basically the mayor of the county. You don't live in Texas. And it's a very populous, about the most populous West Texas town, Lubbock. And to make a long story short, in fact, I'll just pull Lubbock up on a map for folks that are watching at Prison Planet TV. I'll pull Lubbock up for everybody if you want to know where it's at. And we'll back out here on the old Google map. So there's Lubbock. It's up close, to the middle of the Panhandle, south of Amarillo, here in what they call terrorist country, Texas. That's where evil people actually want freedom, the Alamo, stuff like that. Just basically bad people that believe in the Second Amendment and stuff like that. That's why they admit in Louisiana, which is full of a lot of good folks. I'm not getting a rivalry going here. They even came out on the news a few years ago. They wait on the border, and when you drive in, they pull you over and try to manipulate state laws, claiming you can't have a gun, even though you can, and take you to jail, and then impound your car like you were visiting a crack house or something. Just want to put that little warning out to Texans that that's still going on. So driving to Louisiana at your own risk. A lot of people I know just drive around if they're going to Florida all the way through Arkansas. I got to warn people. It's kind of like Mexico down there with the police. But anyways, a side issue, digressing away from that, there's some towns in Texas that'll shake you down too. So let's be honest. If you're coming from Louisiana, there's some East Texas towns where they're going to rob you as well. So I guess it's just hillbilly kingdom. But I can't engage in Texas worship without talking about some of the bad stuff we do as well. But God bless Texas, and just God bless the fact that I am from Texas. That's one of the I am proud of my heritage. I have to admit it. I think I better shut up now. It is illustrious, but all right, I'm in a good mood. I apologize. I'm going to stop right there. Let's get serious here for a moment. Texas official warns of Obama civil war. Now, here's the issue. All this tax money that sent military weapons to the states and counties, fine, we'll just take it. See, it's all a war for the mind. If you've got the mind, it doesn't matter the landscape. And we don't brainwash and deceive and twist people to agree with us. We just lay the truth out unapologetically over and over again and say, hey, you watch what's going to happen. And you wait. The globalists try to drop the hammer because we've been out there warning everybody. Everyone now knows what they see coming down the road. We're prepared. We're not caught flat-footed. And it's happening all over the country. Why do you think we get the Homeland Security reports? Why do you think we get those? I mean, I've been getting them for over a decade, but we finally had enough media power the last 4 years to get them out nationally. They say veterans, gun owners, libertarians, conservatives. I've got New York Times articles from 3-4 years ago where it shows the Boy Scouts. When I first reported on this a decade ago, no one believed me, even though I had the witnesses. They're training Boy Scouts nationwide in the Explorer Scout, 14 and up, that they will face veterans in gun confiscation, and they do door-to-door drills taking the guns. I mean, that's in the New York Times. Headline, Scouts trained to fight terrorists and more. And it's got more than, 20 photos or so? We've shown it to you probably 100 times. And it shows them, if you click on the New York Times article itself, we also have it mirrored up at Infowars.com to be able to analyze it, taking on veterans. Okay, so you've always been the target. It's always been the plan. The foreign bankers run al-Qaeda. When we say 9/11's an inside job, we're saying criminal global cartels helped organize what transpired as a pretext to set up Homeland Security that would then be used against America.
Now, Lord Vader will provide us with the location of the rebel fortress by the time this station is operational. We will then crush the rebellion with one swift stroke.
I think Governor Talk is correct. Anyways, the point is that the globalists are the ones who are the usurpers. They are the revolutionaries. And most revolutions are not to bring freedom. This is a criminal group that is trying to overthrow our republic. They're illegitimate, 110%. And so they sat there and said none of this existed. And that's backfiring on them. They sat there and said, there's no world government. It's not run by mega banks, and they're not going to implode the world economy and then, you know, shut off your power. There's no such thing as Agenda 21. Now it's all happening. People are like, wow, this is really, everything Alex Jones said is happening exactly as he said it would. Well, yeah, I mean, they got public white papers. I mean, I'm reading their plans. Be like if I had the coach's playbook and I was in all their meetings and then I'm now the other team and I know exactly what they're going to do. I know all the hand signs, all of it. This is not believe Alex Jones. See, they count on you just to believe, oh, I believe Obama. He reads off a teleprompter good. Or I believe Romney because he reads off a teleprompter good. He has a nice-looking suit. No. You don't believe Alex Jones. You type in to a search engine, startpage.com or Google or whatever. You type in Army Field Manual Internment Camps for Americans. And you will be on the Army.mil site. It won't be Alex Jones. It's there, okay? It's there. It's the equivalent of habeas corpus. Show me the crime. Show me the body. I'm saying dig in that backyard, you're going to dig up bodies. You dig, they're there. Like these bodies aren't even 5 feet under the ground. They're on the surface, laying there. This is just waiting for you to go discover this. Waiting for you to realize the treason. And are we just going to sit there and let the big government buildings and the F-16s all intimidate us? Those are all being flown by Americans, by people that love freedom on average, until the drones are in place. See, that's why the globalists are racing, announcing they're going to start putting robots on the streets, even primitive ones, that basically just have cameras and weapons on them to acclimate you, because they cannot count on their own people anymore. That's why TSA is now trying to hire outright criminals. Oh, they run the background check all right to make sure they're a criminal. You see, tyranny rots very quickly. Once you get to a certain point, you go downhill 3 or 4 times faster than you were just a second ago. You start racing, and we're now hitting that racing point. But we're seeing the immune system kick in, because everybody I know, successful in business, in literature, in art, you name it. A lot of amazing people live in Austin that I get to meet and know over the years. They are all, not just intellectually, but in their gut, just running around in circles trying to do something right now. Because they know, everybody knows in their gut. You know, it's the strangest thing. Sometimes it only happens like once a year or something. The phone will ring. My wife calls all the time on the hotline, 2 or 3 times a day, but the hotline will ring. I'll have a bad feeling. And I'll know it's bad news when I pick the phone up, when one of the kids falls off the porch and, cuts their head open or whatever. Go ahead and give me the bad news. We've got that, folks, but you don't even need your 6th sense to know what's going on here. It's ridiculous. We're the plum of the globalist. We're that plum, that brass ring, that jewel, that ring of power. They fully get this country under their control. The world better look out, because they plan to use us as a battering ram against every other nation. Whether that nation be good or bad, it doesn't matter. We are now a captured system. And now they're telling us torture is good and secret arrest is good. And yeah, we are spying on you without warrants. And you know what? It isn't Al-Qaeda. It's good old boys that are the terrorists. It's happening. It's happening right now, and it's time to have a gut check. Hundreds of publications brag that we've been captured by foreign banks. And so it's not just me saying this. Under law, under organic common law, under our Constitution, under international law, we have right to revolt. But I say don't play into their hands a physical confrontation, because most people are just dumbed down zombies following a brainwashing template. The fight is in the info war. That's why the globalists want to kick off a physical conflict, because we're going to have a velvet revolution here of ideas if we continue on this trajectory. We're winning. The churches are government run, telling you it's the end of the world, and they tell the New Agers it's 2012, so everybody stands down in the takeover. But our forebears didn't stand down. We're not going to stand down. And even if it was the end of the world, God isn't going to let you into those pearly gates, I will assure you. if you didn't stand against evil while you were here. This is a test. Make no mistake. And you better be worried about your eternal soul. And if atheists, I see your comments on YouTube, get mad by that. Give me a break. Okay, I got my faith. I'm not getting in the way of what you believe in. Let me tell you, the New World Order believes in a God. And let me tell you, it's a nasty God. They don't want you to think anything's out there, so you don't realize there's a lot going on in this world that can't be explained. There's a lot of things in this world that aren't just in your little books. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, straight ahead. Alex Jones here with a message that could revolutionize health in this country. Going back about a year and a half ago, I began to learn about the incredible health effects of longevity products. Aaron Dykes lost 92 pounds. We're going to show you some before and afters. Aaron, break down what happened, your story.
I've worked really hard with diet and exercise to try to lose weight, but I just didn't get the results. It just didn't happen. Then I saw what you were doing with InfoWarsTeam.com. I wasn't even trying to lose weight, but I got it because I wanted to feel better energy. I wanted that nutrition. Didn't even understand how that could kickstart my own weight loss goals. But the products did that for me. I found myself suddenly losing weight, more energetic, wanting to exercise, wanting to eat the right foods.
And they don't even advertise it as weight loss. I want to challenge our radio listeners to go to InfoWarsTeam.com, sign up as a distributor, and get wholesale pricing discounts at InfoWarsTeam.com. And they're getting ready for a staged chemical false flag to blame it on Assad. And again, we're not saying Assad's good, but he's an angel compared to al-Qaeda. A veritable angel. He's an angel compared to his dad. Even Steve Pachenik, who was arrested by his dad, has said that on the show. Steve Pachenik, who had a black ops State Department over the CIA. By the way, he's going to be on the show. I know some of you don't like him. I understand that. The point is he's a really interesting, serious, deep-level person, deep inside the secret state, who comes on this show. So we can learn a lot from him. Even though, obviously, when he's on, he's got an agenda. We'd be fools not to know that. It's just important to talk and to learn things. That's what we do. We learn things by what questions people don't answer or how they answer them. We immerse ourselves in the intelligence so that we may learn and develop a palate and a nose for what's real. And only immersion in InfoWar will give you that full spectrum awareness, which is only a tiny glimmer of the overall potential of humanity. But by full spectrum awareness, you're at least realizing that there's a compendium of information all around you. I want to get your take on this, Judge, specifically on this question when we come back, on more and more county commissioners, more and more people coming out and saying, hey, we're not going to put up with world government being announced and having our power plants shut off and having our taxes raised and being told we're under world government and having the Supreme Court justices, 4 of them, say that they're going to follow orders from the world court. I mean, that is an overthrow. That is a usurpation. It's happening. We're under a North American Union. We're deep into this, and people are waking up. This is exciting. Toll-free number to join us, 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. Now, that said, 2 program notes. I almost don't even want to plug this again because we sold 20,000 copies of the new magazine at cost in one day. I ordered another 20,000 printed from the place, put that order in. They're coming today, and half those have sold. So if you want to get the InfoWars magazine, Financial Collapse Edition, sign up at Infowars.com /Infowars.com/newsletter. And we will send it back out again today, but so our regular readers don't get mad at the same email. In our regular news blast with other new news, we'll have a link in there for you to be able to read it online for free, the digital copy. But you can still right now order copies if you get your order in quick, as fast as they're going. They may be sold out today at InfoWarsShop.com. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast, There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.